60 years from now, when we're old and gray, I want you to know that I'm gonna be picking on you for typing this way.
It's only on an iPad, dude.
I know. But when you're old and your eyesight gets really batshit fucking crazy, and this is your phone, this is the size of your phone.
No, never.
You often fail to stay. Blah, blah.
I meant to move it, but then I was like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore on this thing. Your fellow deep dive.
Wait, does this show up as blue for you?
Oh, like I said, it's kind of like a orange.
No, I mean like on my screen.
Oh, on your
Because my filter's on.
It looks like a sky blue or like a really light, slate blue. You know?
I can't wait till we do color theory, and then maybe one day we'll get sponsored by the people who make the color correction glasses. It's like, hey, in Chroma, send me more glasses. The History Channel do be having documentaries for everything sci-fi related. Aliens.
Want to ride?
Yeah.
Cool. We're recording.
What? We've been recording?
Yeah.
Wait, for real?
God damn.
Just for a little bit.
Alright, let's get started.
Alright, ready?
Mm-hmm.
You guys like me too, right?
Yes, of course we like you, Matt.
Yay!
Feel free to comment and ask questions as we go along.
Yeah,
You can
like
be,
you.
you represent the
Should
audience,
I tell him
low-key.
that he's
Woo!
one here for personality hire yet?
Not yet. Not yet. Not until we have someone else on board. Available.
What was that?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry
Don't
about
worry
it.
about
It's
it.
fine.
You're
Audio's
good.
working great.
You're doing great, Cookie.
Cool.
This is just day one.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, all of this is gonna be a flop. And that's how I'm going in with this. The Oswald brothers crashed 14 planes before they got one to fly. So,
And like I like to say, build the wheel 7 times if you need to learn how to build the wheel.
let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? Have you ever noticed that birds spend an awful amount of time up on them power lines just kind of staring down at us? Do you even know where birds go at night? Do we even know if birds are real?
Do we know if birds are real? Well, I can tell you I did some research on if birds are real or not. Let me tell you. There's a thing, the study of birds. It's called oligology or whatever the fuck, because everyone knows I can't pronounce it.
We'll put the proper pronunciation on the screen for everybody.
Of course. But yeah, and apparently birds actually came from theropods, which is a lizard-hipped dinosaur that happens to walk on its hind legs, specifically, and has 2 small arms in the front, and eventually those arms grew feathers after, like, they all had, like, this hair-like thing on them, I guess. I don't know. Britannica is a weird website to read when you don't understand science. Fun stuff. But yeah, so they ended up growing feathers eventually and then becoming the birds that we know today, right? This is where, like, chicken is the closest relative to dinosaurs that we have next to the alligator, which is an actual dinosaur.
Alligators are legitimately a fucking dinosaur.
Dude, they're terrifying as dinosaurs. I never want to get stuck with an alligator. And so then, basically, after we figured out birds existed, of course, as humans do, we figured out different ways to use them through, like, falconry and sending carrier pigeons and geese, ravens, all of the birds. We figured out if we could somehow make them submissive to us and love us, we will use them, right? There are roughly around 11,167 species of birds, which is crazy. And in those, there are 251 families of birds. The 3 families that we will be talking about today is the Anisor family, the Columbidae family, if I can pronounce anything, and the Corvidae family. Basically, the Columbidae family are pigeons and doves, because they are related. And then the Corvidae family is ravens, crows, magpies, and jays. And the answers are mostly just geese. It's all geese.
Oh.
All types of geese. That's it. Just nowadays, We'll get into that later, but
Geese
geese
are
are
freaky.
cool.
I take that back when I said geese are probably the second closest thing to dinosaurs because have you seen that like ducks and geese have teeth?
Yeah,
That's fucking terrifying.
it is terrifying. And like geese, well, like I said, cool things when we get there. But what did you learn about pigeons?
Dude, so in the 1970s, the CIA during the Cold War actually trained pigeons and armed them with these small, tiny little cameras. We'll throw a picture up on the screen for everybody at home. But there was this operation called Tanica or Takana. One of those two pronunciations has to be correct. But it was this operation essentially where they would strap these lightweight cameras to pigeons and then go fly them over Soviet areas or like to certain veil Soviet service areas or whatever. And so during that operation, it was supposed to be that they were supposed to like gather and collect information because unfortunately spy units at that time were like too high of an altitude and so they couldn't capture like the actual like ground area view that they were aiming for. However, unfortunately, this project did get discontinued due to the fact that pigeons didn't stay on their flight path as intended. And then they also just randomly would go missing and or get attacked by bigger birds of prey.
Can we just talk about the fact that it's like pigeons, great source of delivering information? This is what they used in the Middle Ages, right? No, actually, we come to find out it's miserable.
It's actually not the best way because it takes forever to train them. And then it also takes forever to get them used to flying with the camera. Because even though they say it was lightweight, it's something that like throws off the weight of the pigeon completely. And then so it wasn't something where they were like, it wasn't a successful project and I don't think it lasted very long. I couldn't find information as for like how long it lasted or how long they attempted to try. We just know they tried long enough to see that it wasn't going to work out the way that they had hoped it was. However, carrier pigeons actually still have a good success rate of delivering messages. Their success rate is somewhere between like 90 to 95% is their delivery rate, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
You can get a pigeon to carry a cute little note from like New York to maybe New Hampshire, but you can't get a pigeon to carry a camera.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah.
No, the crazy thing about the whole weight thing that you bring up is it's so true. I had a different headset to play games with recently, and it was so heavy on my head. It started giving me headaches, so I couldn't play games as often with it. And my current headset that I now have is so lightweight. You could feel the difference, and you wouldn't think like two different headsets would be that heavy on a space like my head.
Oh yeah, no.
But it's crazy how much just that little bit of equipment, if your body can't, like if your body's not made for it, it's not made for it.
Oh yeah, and when it comes to like making like aircrafts or like even drones, you do have to consider the weight because it does have to be able to reach a certain elevation. And so I think what happened was, and this is all like a theory within a theory, is I think someone did the math that like, oh, a pigeon could probably get this much ground view, and then didn't account for the pigeon actually having to carry the camera. Because if you look at the photo, the camera is literally strapped around like the waist of the bird. And so it's like, how are you gonna fly? It would be essentially like if you were to strap like a watermelon to a person and expect them to walk normally.
Yeah, true. Ask a pregnant lady to fly with a camera on her belly.
Ask a pregnant lady.
She's gonna love it.
Oh yeah, ask a pregnant lady to like run 4 miles.
Because that's literally what it looks like in the picture. It's like a pregnant lady. Or someone trying to smuggle drugs.
No, genuinely. And so this project had to be discontinued.
Yeah, this six-pack is real, dog.
But
don't worry, it's
I
not a
also
camera.
Yeah.
The pigeon.
But I also found out during World War II, a psychologist called B.F. Skinner, don't know what B.F. stands for, but he proposed using... Best friend Skinner during World War II proposed using trained pigeons to guide missiles towards enemy ships. However, this project was also discontinued. This project was discontinued in 1994 to focus on radar technology, which means the U.S. government spent a couple good years debating if they should use pigeons or not.
I think we entered the war like around 40... What was it, like 43 or something? I don't even remember. But
yeah, we spent a fat minute.
Funny, we were like, how do we explore pigeons?
Yeah, no, we spent a fat minute on this. He had so much faith in this.
He was like...
And then it got discontinued. Almost immediately.
I don't mean to, but that's so funny. I just imagine B.F. Skinner just sitting there with rubbing his hands together like, how do I use these pigeons?
He's like,
how
listen,
do I do this?
imagine him today like, hey sharks,
I have an idea. Dead ass though.
that's true.
Hey sharks, I have an idea. We hook cameras to pigeons.
We teach these pigeons to point at a screen. That's what the experiment was. He believed that we could get the pigeons to like peck at a screen to tell us where the enemies were. Like the whole idea was to like send bird out. Bird gets information. Bird comes back and tells us where the enemies are.
Honestly, truthfully, we do gotta start speaking to the birds. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted, in the research in doing this, I genuinely was like, how do we learn how to speak to the birds? Because they, I bet, have stories to tell. How much information do they have? Because it's not just ravens that have an incredible memory. It's so many birds.
No, you learned a lot
all
about ravens
birds.
recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And what I learned the most is some of my favorite information that I was able to write down in time. Ravens. So, one of the greatest myths about ravens is that Odin had ravens, and their names were Hungen and Munin, or Munin? I think Munin sounds right. I don't know. Muninn. Thank you. The other one is Huginn. Yeah. Basically, they would specifically collect like stuff for him, like information, memories, and stuff. I know one of their names is memory, and the other one is like something else to do with the brain. I can't remember right now, and I don't have it written down here. So, if you know, let us know in the comments. Thank you. Ravens also have a great memory. Their intelligence is estimated to be the same IQ as a 7-year-old child.
Wait, is it crows or ravens that it's illegal to train them in the United States? I can't remember which one, but one of them, it's illegal to train them. Like, you can't have them domestically.
Most likely ravens, because they will literally steal for you.
Oh
like,
my
there
gosh.
was a story that I talked to recently to someone, because I told them about this idea, and she was like, oh yeah, there was someone who taught like in England or whatever, taught a bunch of ravens to steal for her. She had a whole like flock of them, or whatever they're called. I know, it was crazy. But also, ravens and crows, not the same bird. Need to put that here.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not the same. They have different beaks, different head shapes. Are they in the same family? Yes. Do they look similar? Yes. Are they different? Yes. Does it actually matter when you're talking about it with your friend? No.
Not necessarily.
No.
But if you're training birds, know which bird you're training.
Yeah, exactly. If you're training birds, know which birds you're training and know what they do. But it's fine. They both are very smart birds from what I've learned. They have a vocabulary of 20 different sounds that they use to copy and get information from other birds because they are good with memory.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so they'll use whatever sounds. So basically, essentially, if you give a raven like food or whatnot, they'll communicate with other ravens in the area. And this is how that lady in England got the birds to do her bidding.
Oh my
When
gosh, she literally was like, yo,
Yeah.
tell your friends.
No, like seriously, that's what they do. So, and animals, being animals, want to go to the easiest way to get food.
Yeah, the same way, like, if you feed one cat, you end up with a bunch of strays.
Exactly. So that kind of is what happens with ravens. And so in the story of her, she ended up like every time they gave her more money, like a dollar or something, she'd give them like better bread. So they just started stealing like hundreds of like wallets and everything just to get the better bread.
Oh my god.
I know. So that's where it's like, damn, no, they actually do communicate with each other, which is where I'm like, the stories these birds have to tell. Like, imagine the different calls. How do you know what each one means? Like, imagine as a human, you're just sitting there, you hear 3 different calls. One could be, I'm in danger. One could be, they got good food. The other is, I'm done being here.
One of them is like, don't bother me when you
Don't
fucking.
bother me. Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly.
Or there's the, you up?
You up? Oh,
You
yeah.
up.
That's definitely what's happening at night in the rainforest, I promise. I also learned that there are birds that walk in the Amazon rainforest, or at least they did at some point, either still do and are endangered, or used to. I don't remember which list it was on, but one of those two. That's insane. A bird, a helpless, this big of a bird, walking around the Amazon rainforest. I read Paul Rosalie's book, Mother of God. Great book. Would not find me dead if I was that small in the rainforest. I promise you that. Anyways, So about ravens, ravens are basically found all over the world, along with like owls and stuff, in every other country except for Antarctica.
That makes sense.
Right? It does. They're everywhere, which is kind of cool, actually. They live about to 30 years old in the wild, which is insane. If they are obviously held in captivity, they can prolong their lifespan, which is amazing. Their diets consist of roadkill.
That also tracks.
That's where I'm sitting here, like, the story about the bread makes a lot more sense.
Well, yeah.
When you think about the fact that they're eating an animal on the side of the road or something that's just been dead forever versus a hot, fresh loaf of
It's
bread.
the comparison of, like, going to McDonald's and getting a free meal at Red Lobster. You know what I mean?
Yeah!
Or getting a free meal at, like, the Cheesecake Factory or something
Exactly,
like
just for showing up with $1.
that. And considering that
Actually,
they're
though?
both around the same price nowadays, yeah.
Yeah. Hikey. Yeah. No, I'd go with that one. I would obviously go with Cheesecake Factory any day, and I'm not even that big of a fan. Besides the point of my preferences in eateries. Basically, the next thing is ravens mate for life.
Well, that's actually kind of cute.
And
Because so do swans, don't they?
yeah! So, alright, this is actually really cool about geese. Okay, we're gonna skip some raven stuff and go to geese, because it's great. Geese, actually, in the wild, mate for life. In captivity, they are polygamous.
Wait!
Crazy, right?
How does
Think
that...
about that for a second while we go into ravens some more.
Oh my
I'll
gosh.
let you sit with that, because that was shocking to me. I was like, damn, geese are up here, man. Ravens can be heard up to a mile away, which is really cool. But by many cultures, they are seen as death omens, which is kind of like the sad part for them, because they are really, honestly, they're a bird that just wants love. Let's be real here, and the fact that they're seen as death omens in many cultures is very sad to me. But that's fine.
I mean, it's a cool ass bird.
It is such a cool bird, and they're so pretty. The way that they aren't even like truly black.
You know, as long as you don't ask Edgar Allan Poe, it's a pretty cool bird.
Seriously, though. And then I also decided to learn about geese as well. So geese survive about 10 to 15 years out in the wild, but more than 30 years when in captivity. I already mentioned the mate for life fact, which is insane.
So crazy to think about, because like, what do you mean like in the wild you stick to one other geese?
You're
One
like,
other goose.
this is my person forever.
This
but
is
in
my goose bro for life.
But in captivity, you have 5, and they're like, I don't care.
So like at a petting zoo, they all be fucking.
They all be fucking.
There'd be geese orgies.
All the time. Like, that's honestly, like, think about it. Maybe not actually. I don't know. I did not do that much research. But, like, no, think about it. The geese at the farms, like, when you see a bunch of geese and they're like, oh, yeah, I can't house them with my ducks.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's tracking.
Right? I've been on animal TikTok for too long. I'm so sorry to the general public. But,
So have they.
yeah.
And that's why they're here.
Birds are so cool. Like, they're such a cool creature. No, there's a man on TikTok, Basement Biology. Love him. But he makes me interested in animals. And that's why I love this stuff. That's why we're here today. Thank you to Basement Biology. Anyways, back to geese. We've already domesticated geese actually from 11,000 years ago to about 4,000 years ago. The first people to domesticate geese were actually the Egyptians.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
For what purpose?
Meat. Their eggs are very good in protein and like very high in nutritional value, and they had a lot of meat. They were actually one of the first poultries to ever be domesticated, next to like chickens. I think was next, turkeys, pigeons. Pigeons actually I think came before them, and then yeah. Really cool stuff when you think about like how long we've been domesticating them and what they were used for back then and still kind of used for today, like in our pillows and like down comforters. If you ever hear of a down comforter, it is in fact baby geese feathers. Yeah, so look, if you don't want to have those, look for ones that specify like cotton down comforters and not like down comforters. I know that there's different words for it, someone could correct me later. Thank you. But so yeah, and they are still used for that. They were also used when they would fly in their flocking season to migrate and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
People would actually wait to like kind of follow them to collect the feathers for writing utensils for quills.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that was really cool too. And
Question.
Yeah, what's up?
So, are the baby geese treated humanely? Because you were talking a little bit more about.
I don't
elaborate on that.
know.
You don't know. Okay.
That
honestly
was not the topic I
don't-
wanted to look into, but if we had to say our theories, because this is a conspiracy theory podcast, and based off of how we know the food industry treats animals in general and baby animals more specifically, I'm gonna assume not well.
I'm also going to assume probably not well. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're collecting baby geese feathers, I don't assume you're waiting around for the baby geese to like molt. I assume you're probably separating a baby from its mother.
Yeah, like
So-
you're not waiting for the baby to naturally, you are most likely separating it so that it molts on its own rather than being actually taken care of. So that's kind of my theory as to what it is. Now, did I look into that?
No.
And I'd rather not for my mental health's sake. If you want to and come back and tell us, you do that. I'm not doing it for my health.
There's only so much Xanax in the world.
So much. So the other fun part is geese were actually used to wheat farm before the revolution, the Industrial Revolution,
Oh.
pretty much all over the world. Like after geese were domesticated, people figured out which ones they liked more and just went with it. So we have European geese, which most geese today actually come from both of these lines, is the European geese and the Chinese geese.
Oh,
Chinese geese is the one with like the hump on their head, and like there's different variations obviously with the different families of geese that they have, but that's pretty much the two big things when it comes to geese. And it's actually really cool when you think about how they were probably just let out into the fields to eat whatever, because they'll eat pretty much anything.
I
Like
mean,
table scraps to weeds to whatever they can get their hands on, they'll eat it.
I mean, that's why you can't picnic at like certain parks. Like one of our local parks, we can't picnic there anymore because someone decided, oh, we need geese here, and now it's ruined the whole thing.
It has, because they'll eat everything and anything, and if you're on there, they're very territorial, which brings me to my next point. They were also used as alarm systems too, and still are currently used as alarm systems for stock. So like you can let them go with like cows and whatnot, and they'll be very careful. But if someone comes up or like something that they don't recognize or they view as a threat, they honk to communicate with the rest of the flock. But yeah, and also again, back to the whole, a lot of birds have a lot of great memories. Geese is also one where if they perceive you as a threat one time, threat for life. No going back on that one.
Oh, so it's like an on-site.
It's
thing
on
after that.
site, yeah. Like they'll maybe remember if you were good to them, maybe not. But if you're a threat, it's on site after that. Forever a threat to the geese.
Sorry, my brain trailed off. I had to Google this. A group of geese is called a gaggle. Imagine being that one bitch who has to say you got attacked by a gaggle of geese.
Dude, just imagine the like, I don't even know, like the Criminal Minds level of, or I don't even know what it is, but like the cop show level of, yeah. And then it was the geese.
And then the geese.
And then the geese.
And then the gaggle showed up.
And then the gaggle showed up. Okay. And now back to you with pigeons, my favorite.
Girl, I have more than just pigeons, technically. Okay, so, do you remember the campaign online, Birds Aren't Real?
Yes.
Girl, let me fucking tell you
Loved
about this fucking theory. So, in my research, this is considered a Gen Z theory because this theory is only 9 years old.
Yeah.
And it is honestly absolutely insane. So the Gen Z theory that birds aren't real is actually a movement that started around 2017 or 2018. There's been a lot of debate on that. But the theory that birds aren't real, because as we've discussed, the US government isn't shy about using birds.
No.
So
Not at all.
the theory that birds aren't real states that in 1959 or 1969, there's debate about that as well, and there's some inconsistencies. But for today, we'll say 1959. But from 1959 to about 2001, the U.S. government planned to kill over 12 billion birds, that's billions with a B, with poisonous toxins from planes, and so for each bird that they killed, they replaced it with a bird-like replica that would act as a drone equipped with a microphone, a recording device, a camera, all of that sort of thing, all of those sort of like spy tech weird things. and they were just built specifically to just spy on the American people. Like the U.S. government, it's basically how like the U.S. government was like Big Brother. Big Brother isn't your phone, it's not your tablet, it's not your TV. it's your local pigeons. That's what's going on.
In Utah, where we're from, it's the seagulls.
It's the seagulls.
Let's be real here.
It's whatever birds are like most common in your area. And so the theory actually really took off in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And the movement was created by this guy called Peter Hold on. I have to remember how to say his name. Macindoe, I think is how you say it. It's MCINDOE. We'll adjust it later. I'm pretty sure I put the phonetic spelling somewhere. Anyways. So yeah, the conspiracy theory launched and it became like this very public campaign. So
I remember that.
according to sources, Peter started this during a women's march in Memphis, Tennessee in 2007. He saw a bunch of, during this women's march movement, he saw a bunch of like pro-Trump protesters arguing against it. And then that's when he decided, because there was like the most amount of people there, to just stand there and hold up his sign that said birds aren't real in the middle of this women's march. So you have people arguing for women's rights, and then you have a bunch of people who are like pro-Trumpers, and there's just this random dude in the middle holding a sign that says birds aren't real. The video of him holding that sign went viral, and it got crazy. The internet ate it the fuck up.
Yes, it did.
Got crazy.
Remember that.
Yes, and so in October, he launched a YouTube channel called Birds Aren't Real.
Mm-hmm.
There's 22 videos on it currently, and it's all of like Peter and his friends spreading the good old news that birds aren't fucking real, okay?
Did you have friends named Luke and John?
No. Sadly, no. Which is so funny, because it turns out, I found out in my research, his real name was Tyler at some point, up until the age of 5, and then his parents changed it so he could have a biblical name. I'm not even kidding you. I found an interview. He says it himself.
Gosh.
It's so crazy. We'll put a link into the bio for the interview. But anyway, so he launches this channel with a bunch of his friends. And then in July of 2019, he did a news interview on Channel 3 where they posted a billboard in Memphis, Tennessee that states, birds aren't real. And we'll put a picture up for everybody to look at. But this is a real billboard that was in Memphis, Tennessee. And so many people were like genuinely confused about it. And then he did an interview with Channel 3 where he stated that like, yeah, no, birds aren't real. Birds are a conspiracy theory created by the government to spy on us and all of those sorts of things. And then later on in November of 2019, guess fucking what? He interviewed an ex-CIA agent, Eric Pritz, who confirmed, not completely, but might as well have, that pigeons and other birds have been used as spies for the U.S. government before and still might be. And then in 2020, because we were all locked inside during quarantine, this campaign really took
That's
off.
when I remember hearing about it the most,
Yes.
was in 2020.
Oh, yeah, no, because in March of 2020, this was at the height of COVID. There were people making memes and jokes that the reason why quarantine exists or why COVID was like happening to us was so that the government could put new batteries in the drones.
Yeah.
And then Peter made a TikTok video and a YouTube short and posted it essentially addressing what he calls misleading information. And he reminded the public, no, the birds don't need batteries. They charge on the power lines. Stay woke. And this is a real video that you can find. It's still
I remember
up online.
watching that one and being like, he's right,
People
they
were
charge.
Yes, because people were making memes about how like, no, we're all inside right now, so we can't see them cleaning up their dead drones to put new batteries in it. And it was kind of insane. But during this time,
It's a 70-year time gap.
oh no, genuinely, during this time, everything was like kind of going crazy. Because also in July of 2020, he got another fucking Birds Aren't Real billboard put up in Los Angeles, California, where he had a mini rally to like talk to more people who truly believe this is a thing, who truly believe that birds aren't real. And then the following year, July of, literally a year apart, July 2021, this man bought a van covered in text, and we'll put a photo up. This van is real. This van toured America. He bought a van that says birds aren't real, like literally all over it. And he did a miniature tour all around America doing like rallies and like talking to people and spreading the good word and handing out merch. There is merch you can buy still today. I double checked it. You can buy merch. I think if you have a purchase that's over $125, it's free shipping. So yeah, there are hats, there are sweatshirts, there are stickers, there is birds aren't real merch. And it is honestly the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It is quite literally one of the funniest things I've ever seen. You can still buy merch. I honestly, if you wanna, I would go buy some. And then
I might.
I would.
Honestly,
I was contemplating it. They come in different colors too, so like there's options. There's sweatshirts, there's hoodies. It's great. Anyways, awesome. Yes. So while he was on the Birds Aren't Real tour, he spoke to so many people at so many different rallies and so many different functions, and this whole thing created like it inspired an entire community that was primarily made up of millennials and Gen Z. It's truly a Gen Z theory. It kind of is a little crazy. And then the biggest thing they did, they went to Twitter and they challenged Twitter to stop using quote unquote aviary terms or avian terms or however you pronounce it. But no, they challenged Twitter and demanded that they change the logo, the terms Twitter and tweet, and demanded they submit to a different format of words.
You know what's crazy? Since then, it has changed.
It has changed. He was just a little late. Or no, he was too early.
He was too early.
He was too early.
No, Elon Musk heard this and went, they're right.
They're right. You know what? I have a dumber name.
True. I have a dumber name. We can change this.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
I know. And then you had some mythology?
Yeah, actually, so I decided because birds, we've always had birds in our culture forever and always, and like in some of the history they would bring up like the phoenix and whatnot. So I have some bird mythology I would like to share. The first one being, this isn't actually the most recent theory that we've had online with birds. There's actually one in England, about the owl man. The owl man is compared to the American mothman with how it's more on the recent side of history with folklore. Sightings say an owl-like humanoid with very large wings hang around an old church that used to be pagan religious sites.
Oh.
So he's supposed to be seen as like a thing of vengeance almost, or like doom onto the churches or whatnot, I guess.
Do you think there's Owlman stickers we could go get?
I want one. Honestly, thinking about it, I'm like, I could see him looking like the owl bear from Avatar Loki.
Oh,
and that'd be lit as hell.
That would be.
Right?
I like that idea.
Right? That's how I picture him in my head, because I haven't seen any pictures of any of the animals I'm about to talk about. But like, that's how I picture him, and I'm like, that would be a vengeful spirit, because like, we screwed up, The next one that I wanted to bring up, Bennu is Egyptian, and it's a giant bird that is associated with the sun, creation, rebirth, kind of like the phoenix in most mythologies. And then we have the Bazé, which is from Chinese culture. This creature is sometimes described as a dragon-goat hybrid with a single horn or a winged lion goat. And typically it was seen as like they had extensive knowledge, brings good joy, fortune, but also if you were to ever actually like face it head on, not the best thing to do because you would face divine retribution in the act of hurting it. So that is some really cool information that I also learned, where I was like, dang, we have a similar theory here with pigeons.
Oh my gosh. It's honestly kind of crazy because like the whole birds aren't a real thing primarily did target pigeons, because like if you look at their website or even their YouTube channel, the only like graphs or like photos they have or like any pictures they have to like display these drone-like bird-looking things,
Mhm.
it's always like a pigeon. It's almost always a pigeon. And quite frankly, it makes sense for it to be a pigeon, considering that pigeons are, like, again, very common.
Mhm.
And they mate like crazy, or so it seems. I think we just overbred them one day, and now they're just kind of all over the place.
I actually
so-
did see a video about that where at one point we did abandon pigeons because we used them so much and then we stopped. And that will be theories for a different day.
Oh, yes. But no, it's kind of crazy. But, like, the birds aren't real theory really did encompass, like, any and all birds.
Mhm.
And so, it was honestly crazy. But starting from 2017 all the way up to 2022. Now, I know this is crazy for our first episode. But, girl, this theory's already been debunked.
I was
theory-
shocked.
Honestly, with something like this, I understand why it got debunked so
Mhm.
quickly, because there's a plethora. There's a vast amount of bird scientists who dedicate their lives to this. And let me tell
There's
you,
a whole science that we talked about earlier.
we'll put
Goddamn
the
words
proper
in that.
pronunciation on the screen for everybody. And let me tell you, a few of them were not so happy with the
Why?
birds aren't real conspiracy theory and the movement itself being a thing, especially since it got so much media attention. And like,
Mhm.
this guy was on the news multiple times.
Yeah.
And he documented all of his stuff. And so,
insane.
but that's also, however, not how it got debunked, actually.
Really?
It is not. So in January of 2022, Peter came forward and broke character on camera during a Vice interview and admitted on camera for the whole world that this whole movement isn't even real either. It's not real at all. It actually was a satirical joke. So what happened is Peter was just hanging out with some friends in Memphis, Tennessee.
Mhm.
The march just happened to happen near them. The Trump protesters or pro-Trump people also just happened to be there. It just happened to be the perfect storm of chaos. And so what Peter did is he just took a random poster and wrote on the back, "Birds aren't real," and then just decided to stand in the middle because he thought it was funny. And then because it went viral all over the place, he just decided
For
to
years.
lean into it. And then it became this social experiment where essentially it was like, hey, how much misleading information can one get away with? How crazy can a thing get? And he found out. He played this crazy bird conspiracy
years.
theories for 5 years. He did this for 5 whole freaking years, and he told Vice that it felt weird breaking character on camera for the first time ever, but he knew this wasn't something that he wanted to do forever.
Yeah.
So he had to break character eventually. But going on for 5 years pretending
Is
that you don't
insane.
know or that you believe that birds aren't real and telling multiple news networks and going on camera multiple times that you believe birds aren't real and that the US government killed over 12 billion birds. I mean, let's face it, we probably have. But I don't think it was from the time span that he said it.
No.
And so during this interview, he really opened up about how it genuinely started as a satirical joke, and then he wanted to see how much further he took it. And what ended up happening by accident is he accidentally built a really cool community. He accidentally created like a cute little like, hey, let's just meet up and hang out kind of thing. And he says in this Vice interview, you can go watch the video. It's actually a really good interview. He says in the video, almost everyone, if not all of those attending these rallies, know that the birds exist. They are aware that birds exist. There are people who own birds as pets and still show up to these rallies, and they just like, you know, flaunt the crazy for the camera, and at the end they all just kind of hang out and just talk, and just like, he just accidentally built like this really unexpected community out of nowhere, and it just turned into this beautiful thing. In September of 2023, so not too long ago, he actually did a TED Talk.
Really?
He did a TED Talk where he does open with the conspiracy theory that birds aren't real, and then he leans into, hey, I don't believe in this. Birds are real. Birds exist. Birds exist aplenty.
What do you do?
There's-
TikTok just to convince the world.
Oh, not to convince the world, but to essentially just kind of talk about how easy it is to start something so crazy and have people believe it, but not only have people believe it, but also to have people like want to believe in something, or to have people just kind of like come together in a weird moment of like coming together over like this one simple little thing, but also having maybe nothing else in common, and how we should start asking ourselves like, why do conspiracy theorists need to believe this stuff? Why does somebody need to believe that, for example, why do all these people need to believe that the earth is flat? Why does everybody need to believe that we came from this line of evolution or that this line of evolution? It was actually a really good TED Talk. And it was actually just, it's honestly, the whole thing is just genuinely so funny. However, to this day, the hashtag birds aren't real is still very much trending, and there are people sending funny videos of birds or like the government bird meme. There's like so many memes about these things, and like honestly the whole thing was just so fucking funny. My whole thing on like pigeons working for the bourgeoisie or for the government literally turned into this research on this dude who decided to play a cute little funny at a women's march just to see what would happen.
No,
but the
so
YouTube
funny.
video is, or the YouTube channel I mean, is still up. I believe all of the social media accounts are still up. Again, the website for the merch is still up and alive and well, actually. It genuinely is.
I love it.
The website is still there. The whole About Us is still there. It hasn't been taken down just because it's so funny. And yeah, in the end, it turns out birds are real.
Birds are in fact real, and unfortunately, they are so real that they can go extinct. And that's where I actually want to go back to where you brought up this original theory, like happening. So the theory that states 1959
states that in 1959 or 1969.
What's crazy about that theory is after looking into a bunch of different birds that had fallen into extinction, it was around the 1950s and 60s that so many different species were just falling into extinctions because of how humans were trying to move into their territories and overtake their resources and bringing in disease. Different animals like rats and cats and other birds that would eat their food. And it just kind of caused so much harm to their habitats over the time. That's where it's like, I'm not surprised that this theory actually kind of came to be, because we don't see as many birds as we used to.
Oh yeah.
And life has been like, and there's so many different things that humans do that are not good for birds, like glass windows, for example.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So it's just kind of crazy to be like, wow, since 1959.
No, it's honestly kind of crazy because he just happened to pick his little joke just so happened to fit so well with everything. Because remember in 2020, we saw a huge influx of like random animals coming to peek into the city.
Yeah.
And like people were finding like random animals in their backyard. So the fact that like a bunch of people were theorizing that's why we're seeing more birds is because they're all fully charged or something. Like honestly, he just literally had the perfect storm of ingredients to create this crazy thing. So it
A
honestly,
joke and some luck, and he was able to do something.
he
with
just
it
happened to
that
pick a
lasted.
good topic that was very.
5 years.
Imagine if he tried to do this with fish. I don't think it would have worked as well.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. The birds are so much more realistic. Let's be real here. They're weird, but we love them. But, so, because most of the animals that I have here, like the Grand Cayman, was extinct by 1965, mostly because of weather. So that is the one on my list that is due to weather.
Okay, so that's more like a natural cause kind of thing.
Yeah, it's still depressing when I have, like, 4 other birds all due to humans.
I mean, technically, if you really think about it, a theory within a theory, if you will, if it's done by weather, technically you could probably relate that to global warming, which is a man-made issue, and therefore it's still a man problem.
Yep, because it was due to like hurricanes being insane in the area, and before even then, we did not have proper conservation for birds.
Oh, that's
Before
true.
in 1965, no conservation was going into birds, so we didn't have the opportunity to actually save them. And then there's the dodo bird, which went extinct in 1681. The Carolina parakeet, which actually was the only parrot native to North America. We had a native parrot, and it died because of human intervention, because we kept destroying its own thing. And it was like, at one point, the most abundant bird in America, too, which is crazy to think that even. We had a parrot that was beautiful. It was like green and yellow and gorgeous. Oh, I know, it's so sad. And then Auckland
Murashner or whatever. It was due to humans and bringing cats over to their nice little island, their rocky island off New Zealand.
Oh.
Yeah, and then passenger pigeons is probably, they were also one of the most abundant birds and killed in North America because of the settlers. Yep. It's really sad. And then, R.I.P. to our pigeons that died in action.
Yes, our IRL pigeon spies. So, carrier
Rest in
pigeons
peace.
and messenger pigeons, actually very successful, as I said before. Carrier pigeons actually still have a good success rate of delivering messages. Their success rate is somewhere between like 90 to 95% is their delivery rate. Beginning of this, they have a 90 to 95% delivery rate. So, one of our IRL pigeon spies was Cher Ami, a pigeon bird specifically from World War I. Cher was a U.S. Army pigeon who delivered a message that saved a platoon of American infantrymen. She lost an eye and a leg during her time serving America.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Rest in peace, Queen. You did a good job. And then we have G.I. Joe from World War II. He is a U.S. Army pigeon, or was a U.S. Army pigeon, who saved 100 British troops after delivering a message that brought a bombing assault to a halt.
Hell yeah.
And then we have, who I think is my favorite bird, we have Patty from World War II.
Aww.
He holds the record for the fastest cross-channel message delivery from Normandy to England on D-Day.
Oh my gosh.
I know, he holds the fastest record!
Oh, I love that.
R.I.P. Patty!
R.I.P. Patty. R.I.P. all these beautiful birds. Honestly, it is so sad to think of like what everything is just done. Like humans intervening.
Oh yeah,
the
absolutely.
mythologies that have come from birds, the new things that have come up with birds, like this one where the birds aren't real, and with Owlman and everything. It is actually really cool. The thing is we have to protect these resources. And to protect them, invest in your local aviaries, or if you don't have one near you, feel free to invest in the one near our area, which is called Tracy Aviary. There will be a link in the description to donate if you want to, or if you're close by, feel free to go visit. It's actually really cool. I went last year with my sister and my nephew, so.
It's actually a really beautiful place.
It is so
It's
pretty.
actually really nice.
And they do very well at conservation for their birds. So guys, that was our first conspiracy with birds, and unfortunately it was debunked.
Unfortunately, but also in a very funny way. I think this was a good case to go over because if you really think about it, how many people start a conspiracy theory and then debunk their own theory? Most people get debunked by other people. I mean, Mythbusters were really putting in the work for a fat minute there.
Oh yeah.
So
Definitely worth putting in the work. But yeah, no, that's crazy. It's debunked. So thank you for enjoying our first conspiracy with us. Please like and subscribe.
find us on all social medias. If you have any sort of conspiracy theories that you would like us to look into, hit us up in the comments section. Follow us on social media and hit us up there. Let us know if we got anything wrong or how many things we got right. Bird scientists, sound off in the comments.
For how many words we screwed up through all of this, or any of the words that we screwed up, because I can't talk, even though English is my first language.
Alright, so until next time.
Until next time, bye. So, but dude, honestly, think about going camping if we did live in a simulation.
Oh, yes.
That would be insane. Like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go out and touch some grass. Nah, grass is actually fake.
Dude, you know something crazy about the simulation theory? Is it possible that this personalized chamber is a simulation within a simulation?
But the quote is, social media was made for optimization, not for enlightenment.
And so this has been like an idea for a minute.